Hi everyone, hope you're all good today. Okay, so Harsh Reality has a really good video out today. Um, Actually, I can't remember if it's today or yesterday, but I'll link the video. So please do go and check that video out if you haven't seen it already. Um, but he raised some really interesting points in that video, and I did want to touch on some of what he said. Um, so in this video, he said that he doesn't necessarily trust Ann Taylor as Brian Koberger's defense attorney. And he said that he feels that the fact that Brian Koberger has been so silent about his innocence um, could indicate that he's been warned that he's not in a very good position and that it would do him better to remain quiet. And Harsh further says that he feels, based on that Ann Taylor may suspect that her client is guilty. Um, and this is not me saying that Harsh doesn't understand the law. As far as US law goes, he probably understands a lot more than me. But I do think that's really interesting. That point of Brian Koberger having been warned that he's not in a good position, I think is probably very likely. Um, but I disagree really strongly that that could suggest that Ann Taylor feels that her client, Brian Koberger, might be guilty based on that. Um, you know, Brian Koberger can be innocent, and he can be innocent in the eyes of Ann Taylor and still be in a very bad position and still have been warned about that, which unfortunately I do think is probably the case. Um, but if you think about it like this, if Ann Taylor believes that Brian Koberger is innocent, she genuinely believes that, then, not just as a defense attorney, but just as a human being, she had to have wondered at some point, what's going on here? How did this happen? How did this arguably innocent person wind up in the position that he's in? And that's not really a simple thing to wonder, you know. She, she has to kind of, if she feels that her client is innocent, then she also has to navigate that question um, while she's trying to work as a defense attorney as well. So, I mean, if we actually ask that question for her, if Brian Koberger is innocent, how did this possibly innocent person get into the situation that he's in? And there's a couple of possibilities of, what could have happened. I mean, it could have been like a wrong place, wrong time kind of situation, a misunderstanding. He could have been framed. It could be a combination as well, like there's somebody who really believes that he's guilty, but there isn't evidence to prove it. So things are being tweaked because they feel that's justified. And there's a lot of possibilities, but these are the kinds of things that Ann Taylor would be up against as Brian Koberger's defense attorney if she feels that he's innocent. That's the gravity of what she would need to be thinking about as well if she's believing that he's innocent. Um, and those are not simple things to be wondering and to be up against. I mean, some of them are actually kind of terrifying. So, I mean, if you look at what she has been doing as his defense attorney to date, I wouldn't necessarily say that I see anything indicative of her suspecting his guilt. I think we can all agree that if Brian Koberger is innocent, then for him to be in the position that he's currently in, something somewhere, somehow, has gone terribly wrong. There's a problem, a huge problem, a monumental problem somewhere. Now, I'm not commenting about what that problem might be, but Anne Taylor has to know if she feels that he's innocent, then she has to know that whatever that problem is, or whatever that actor is, it's still out there in the world, existing if her client is innocent. Um, and she kind of has to anticipate what's going on with that as well, in terms of how her innocent client got to where he is. And she needs to actually think about the response to things that she does in terms of whatever entity is out there that has put her client where he is, even if it's just error. That's something she has to navigate. That's something she has to understand. So, in a way, if she feels that her client is innocent, it's more complicated for her because she has that added question of what is going on. And, I mean, she, I'm not really getting the impression that she is doing things like looking for deals or arrangements or trying to get the death penalty taken off the table like we've seen in some other cases, like the Lori Vallow case. She seems to be wanting to get to a place where she feels that the control that she and her opponent have over the environment is more even. So she's not necessarily looking for ways to pacify the outcome if he's found guilty. She seems to be more trying to figure out what's going on. And I honestly don't think that it's a coincidence that she waited until the house came down to be more vocal about things and unsealing things, or at least trying to be. Because if you are in the camp that Brian Koberger was framed, then you kind of have to wonder about the environment where the questionable evidence would be coming from. And it probably is safer without that environment in existence. There's less chance of that kind of response where more evidence, you know, is found or appears, and stuff like that. That's if you are in the position that you don't necessarily trust things like the sheath, the physical evidence. So those are the kind of things that she needs to actually know the inner workings of if she feels that he's innocent. And I think that that's a big thing. It really is. And I'm kind of inclined to still want to trust her. Um, I think that we need to give her and the system space. She's working in a system and maybe against a system. We don't know. We don't really know. Especially if you feel that Brian Koberger is innocent, then there's more questions. And I mean, I think at the end of the day, we don't really know what she thinks. But if she feels that he's innocent, there's a lot more to actually think about for her because she's not thinking only about things that her client did or didn't do, but she's also needing to think about the circumstances that have brought about this, be it a misunderstanding or whatever it is, but what we can all acknowledge is that it's a problem. And I really think that, it's difficult for us when we're invested and we really think we know what happened and we want it to go a certain way and we can get emotional about it. Um, a lot of people are invested in this case, but she has a way to do things. And if she feels that her client is innocent, she has additional things to think about. And I really do feel that she should be given a chance to just see how the system can play out. I don't know what you guys think. Please let me know, but I am still inclined to trust Ann Taylor. I do not get the impression that she suspects guilt. Um, and I think that if that were the case, there were quite a few different things she would be doing. But like I said, I'm definitely not accustomed to US law. I think that's just a common sense approach. So please do let me know what you think. And don't forget to watch Harsh's video as well. And have a beautiful day. Bye.